Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. There are only a few hours left for the moratorium on campaigning for the January 8th presidential poll.
Both candidates were seen pushing hard for the final bid to secure the top job in the country.
We have more details coming up later on in the bulletin, but first a look at the headlines for tonight.
Malwatu and Asgiri Chief Prelates call on Elections Commissioner to enable people's right to vote in a free and fair environment. I will not bow to thuggery at any instance, a statement from the Elections Commissioner. Warrants issued for the arrest of Deputy Minister Premalal Jasekara and Duwa Provincial Minister Sendil Tondaman. President Rajapaksa notes that he has been able to develop all provinces in the country equally. I am committed to upholding national security and the unitary status of the country, a statement from Maithripala Sirisena. Sajit Premadasa reiterates that he will never leave the UNP.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that he was capable of equally developing all the provinces in the country. The head of state made this statement addressing a public rally held in Debaravava grounds in Tissamaharama this morning.
Today, the president commenced his election campaign by attending a public meeting in Palwatta Buttala.
Now you see that Palawata was sold out. Savanagala was also sold out. I reacquired them. Following that, I have also increased your wages. There is an opportunity to sell off Ukwala for a higher price. I will recruit 150,000 under the state sector this time. He says that new recruitments under the state sector will be immediately halted and suspended. But I state to you, brothers and sisters, that he will not proceed with the suspension. He will not be able to cut down the fertilizer subsidy because as the results come out in the morning on the 9th, Mahinda Rajapaksa will be reinstated as the president of this country.
Ministers and parliamentarians also addressed the gathering today.
Could we even dare to think that the Tigers could be finished? No, but it came to pass. Following that, what did the public say? They said that they need nothing else but to be protected by the president. This group that has come together is attempting to eliminate this leader who established great development in the country even without being requested to do so. Dear fathers and mothers, we would like to remind you of a decision you made through electing President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the 2005 presidential poll, thereby making him the nation's leader, the only leader who fulfilled the needs of villagers, thereby placing a true value on your votes. On the 8th, we will state to the whole country that your mothers, fathers and siblings from the villages are the ones to prove the true essence of change to the change-seeking masses of this country.
Meanwhile, President Mahinda Rajapaksa visited the Potubadra Rajamahawihara in Buttala Monragala this morning and engaged in religious observances. Another in the series of major public rallies organized by the UPFA was held at the Debaravava grounds in Tissamaharama today.
When talking about the development of the nation, the whole country is talking about Hambantota. Some people blame us. They blame us for making the airport. They blame us for making the port. Not only that, we brought you the highway. And in addition to that, in the near future, you will be able to get into any train and reach Colombo in a couple of hours in air-conditioned comfort. When developing the country, everyone paid attention only to Colombo. This province was given stepmotherly treatment. Not only did we get rid of this treatment, we freed Jaffna and have carried out development projects of an equal scale in the north. This I need to state to you clearly. Now they will be saying that it was a Jilmart. They'll say that a Jilmart took place when counting votes. We do not need a computer Jilmart. The public will play the right Jilmart.
The President also expressed several views on Sajid Premadasa.
Sajid දැන් එපා වෙලා වගේ.
It seems like even Sajid has had enough now. Though he has not mounted this platform today, there is a likelihood that he might mount the platform in Piliyandala. I won't be surprised if he mounts the platform there. I won't be surprised. But I would like to tell the gentleman to remain there. The United National Party will topple. Don't let it demolish. Just attempt to hold it together. It doesn't matter if you come this way. The vote you cast on our behalf is what matters. Speaking at a rally in Cologne today, UNP Deputy Leader Sajid Premadasa reiterated that he will never leave the party.
Sajid Premadasa, Maitripala Matilumage Vedika Venahallu.
They say that Sajid Premadasa is not to be seen on Maitripala Sirisena stage. They say Sajid Premadasa is about to cross over. They say Sajid Premadasa will join the Beetle Leaf for the Prime Minister's position. My friends, I ask you, why should I join the Beetle Leaf for a two-bit Prime Minister's position at a time when the people of this country are hoping to make me the leader of this country in the future? Each and every person is asking me if I will leave. They ask me if I will get on the UPFA stage in Debravawa. They say that crowds are being drawn to the Debravawa rally, saying that Premadasa's son is joining the alliance. Look at the bankruptcy of the Beetle Leaf. How low have they fallen? Their campaign has been caught up in lies and deception. The next 48 hours are extremely important. My friends, remember that Premadasa's son will never make two-bit political decisions for benefits and privileges.
New Democratic Front presidential candidate Maitripala Sirisena made a special statement at a press conference convened in Colombo this morning. Addressing the gathering, he stated that he is committed to the security and unitary state of the country.
ඉතාම පැහැදිලිව කියන්නට ඕන මම අපේක්ෂකයා වශයෙන්ුත් ඒ වගේම අපි සංවිධාන වශයෙන්ුත්
I, as a presidential candidate, and we as an alliance have not under any circumstance signed any agreement or drafted agreements on a separatism or power devolution, neither secretly nor openly with any Tamil organization or the Muslim Congress. All of us gathered here have only one agreement, and that is to fulfill what has been outlined in our election manifesto within a period of 100 days. Apart from that, I would like to clearly state that there is no agreement whatsoever. Also, I clearly state that following our victory at the elections, the complete responsibility of safeguarding the unitary state of the country will be borne by myself on one hand and by our alliance as a collective on the other hand. I will protect the unitary state of this country. I will safeguard the national security of this country. In this issue of national security, I want to state very clearly that while the unlimited power vested in the President will be given to the Parliament, the Cabinet of Ministers and the Judiciary, after my victory when I take oaths on the 10th, from that point on the sole responsibility of the issue of national security, the military and all related aspects fall on my shoulders as President of the country. The army will not be evacuated from the north. Likewise, we will not favor any act that promises separatism. We clearly mention that we will never allow the LTTE to re-emerge within the country, nor will we allow seekers of Elam to raise their voice on behalf of their movement.
බොහොම පැහැදිලි වූ ප්‍රකාශය අපි කරන්නට ඕනේ.
Maithripala Sirisena also requested the masses to work towards a free and fair election.
මම ඉතාමත්ම ගෞරවයෙන් ඒ සියලු දෙනාගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා අපි
I kindly request everyone to work towards a peaceful election. Let us dedicate ourselves towards a free and fair election. Let us boycott election violence. Reject it. Let us carry out this election in a non-violent manner. We will accept the final decision of the people, and following our victory, we will function as a government that will safeguard the rule of law, transform the public service to be impartial and independent, and transform the police to uphold law and order and be an impartial institution.
අපි රජයක් විදිහට කටයුතු කරන බව බොහොම පැහැදිලිව කියන්නට ඕනේ.
Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Maithripala Sirisena, expressed his disappointment with regard to the manner in which state media is being used to carry out election campaigns that violate election laws. He made this statement at a public rally held in Amblipitia.
A public rally was held at the Amblipitia public grounds in the Colonna electorate.
අද රාත්‍රී 12 ඉඳලා මෙතිවර ප්‍රධාන කටයුතු අවසන් වෙනවා. නමුත් මාධ්‍ය භාවිත කිරීම මේ රටේ
Election campaigning ends at midnight tonight. But Mahinda Rajapaksa has used the state media in a manner that no other state leader or any government has. He carries out campaigns violating election laws and has used the media in a lowly manner. He does not follow the orders announced by the election commissioner. Ignoring all of this, Mahinda Rajapaksa has ordered Rupavahini and ITN to continue telecasting campaign advertisements in the next 72 hours. The government does not even pronounce my name properly because they are scared of my name. The problem is not if it's the UMP, SLFP, JVP, TNA or the Muslim Congress. We are all citizens of this nation. But rather, you should ask yourselves, you're conscious if you will protect our country or protect the Rajapaksa's family when you cast your vote in 48 hours.
තමන්ගේ හෘද සාක්ෂියෙන් අහන්න මම රට රකින්නවද රාජපක්ෂ පවුල රකින්නවද?
The chief prelates of the Malwatu and Askeri chapters request the Elections Commissioner to enable the people's right to vote in a free and fair environment.
The letter to the Elections Commissioner has been signed by the Chief Prelate of the Malwatu chapter, the Most Venerable Tibbatuwe Sri Sumangala Thera, and the Chief Prelate of the Askeri chapter, the Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakkhita Thera. They write that an environment for a free, fair and impartial democratic election process that will win the respect of the world must be created. The Chief Prelates call on the Elections Commissioner to ensure that the law is enforced fairly with regard to incidents of vandalism, intimidation and loss of life that have already been reported in several areas. Furthermore, the Chief Prelates say that they are happy with the efforts undertaken thus far by the Elections Commissioner to execute his duties within a certain level of fairness and impartiality.
The Palmadulla Magistrates Court ordered the arrest of 3 persons, including Deputy Minister Premalal Jayasekara, over the shooting in Kahawatha, targeting supporters of Maithripala Sirisena. A group of supporters were shot at early this morning while putting up decorations for a campaign rally in Kahawatha.
A rally had been organized in the Kahawatha town today to marshal support for New Democratic Front presidential candidate Maithripala Sirisena. The police say that a group including Deputy Minister Premalal Jayasekara had arrived at the location and had opened fire on supporters putting up decorations for the rally. 3 persons who were injured in the shooting were rushed to the hospital and were later transferred to the Ratnapura General Hospital. The police say that one of the victims is in critical condition. The Palmadulla Magistrate Court has also ordered the arrest of UPFA Sabaragamu Provincial Councillor Nilantha Jaikodi and Kahawatha Pradesh Sabha Chairman Vajra Silva. The court has also ordered immigration authorities at the Katunayaka and Matale airports to prevent the wanted men from leaving the country. Meanwhile, several on-duty election officials were attacked by a certain group in Trincomalee. The police say the attack occurred at around 8 p.m. last night. The officials had been attacked while inspecting the footage being shown on a digital screen at a UPFA campaigning office established in Trincomalee town. The officials claimed that they were attacked by a group including Deputy Minister of Economic Development Susantha Punchinilame.
මගේ කාර්යාලයේ තියෙන
A certain group of people had thrown computers, projectors, photocopy machines and other equipment from the office and attempted to make off with the equipment. I do not know who they are. I asked them why they were taking it away. Then he said he was an assistant elections commissioner, but he did not produce any identification. I have never seen them before in my life. 2 people have been arrested by the police in connection with the incident. Our reporter says that they were remanded until the 12th after being produced before the Trincomalee Chief Magistrate T. Sarvanaraja.
In the meantime, the Bandarwala Magistrates Court has issued a warrant for the arrest of Uva Provincial Council Minister Sendil Thondaman. The warrant had been issued over an allegation that Sendil Thondaman had assaulted a postman in the Alla area on the 3rd of January this year.
Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya says that the officers dispatched by the Elections Secretariat are working dedicatedly towards a free and fair election. Campaigning activities ahead of the presidential election conclude at midnight today, and the casting of votes on the 8th, the day after the presidential poll, will commence at 7 a.m.
ප්‍රචණ්ඩ ක්‍රියා ඇතිවීමේ ප්‍රවණතාවය ඉහළ යෑම ගැන
I'm highly concerned over the increase in election violence. A shooting incident was reported even last night. A shooting was reported on the day before that too. If we fail to curb the attacks carried out on election rallies, we will have to recall another poll in those areas. We will never bow down to thuggery. I would like to state to any and every thug out there that every assault, every threat and every attempt of assault on the election officers will not trigger fear in us. It will only make us stronger. They believe that they can have their way by assaulting us. This happens at every election. This is because the culture of the Sri Lankan politics has deteriorated. Many people say that the election officers are asking for it because they act like pundits during an election. Whether we are asking for it or not, the law will be enforced. If even one of our people is attacked, 2 more will be sent.
Welcome back to the news. General Secretary of the JVP, Tilvin Silva, expressed the following views at a public rally held in Polpidigama yesterday.
Mahinda is paving the road to pass the crown to his son Namal. It is his dream to make his son Namal the next president. According to our constitution, in order to run for elections, you have to be over 35 years old. Namal, who is still a boy, has not even turned 35. That is why Mahinda sir needs to keep his crown until Namal Rajapaksa turns 35. The father will have to hold power until the son turns 35 years old. That is why he called for elections. Therefore, this presidential election is not for the people but a way to keep power within the family. So we must ask ourselves, what should we do? Just because you are from the SLFP or the UNP, you must not keep such divisions. This is not an election to defeat one party and let the other party emerge victorious. What is this election about? In a way, this election is about defeating a one-man rule and freeing the country from the clutches of the president's one-family rule.
The final media briefing of the United People's Freedom Alliance in the run-up to the presidential poll was held in Colombo this morning.
ප්‍රේමදාස ජනාධිපතිතුමාව ඝාතනයට ලක් කරේ ප්‍රභාකරන් කියලා හොඳටම මේ රටේ ජනතාව දන්නවා.
The people of the nation are well aware that the assassination of President Premadasa was carried out by Prabhakaran. So is Sajid Premadasa. Can Sajid Premadasa sit on the same stage where the murderer and assassin Prabhakaran was addressed as Mr.? But when I listened to one of his speeches this morning, he went on to note,
හැබැයි මම අද උදේ ඇහුවා එතුමාගේ කතාවක්. එතුමා මේ විදිහට කියනවා.
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස වැනි පුද්ගලෙක් ප්‍රේමදාසගේ ඝාතනයට වගකිව යුතු ප්‍රභාකරන්ට මිස්ටර් ප්‍රභාකරන් කියපු ඊට වාරියේ මගේ ප්‍රශ්න මගේ තියන්න ඝාතනය කරේ වෙන කවුරුත් නෙවෙයි කුටි සස්සවාදී. වාක්‍ය දෙකයි නෙමෙයි ඉතින් ඉස්සරහට මොනවද කියන්නේ කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද සමහරට කියන්න පුළුවන් ඒ කොටි සංවිධානයේ ප්‍රබලව දැන් ඉන්නේ ආණ්ඩුවත් එක්ක. ඒ කියන්නේ වැදගත් වෙන්නේ එතුමා කියන්නේ
අද රාත්‍රී 12 වෙනකොට අපේ සියලු ප්‍රචාරක කටයුතු අවසන් කිරීමට
12,000 local and district level representatives at the polling centres have been notified to halt all campaigning, keeping in line with the election laws by midnight today. Our organisers have been advised to render their fullest support to the Elections Commissioner and the police in order to hold free and fair elections.
පොලිසියටත් සම්පූර්ණ සහාය ලබා දෙන්නයි කියලා නිදහස් සාධාරණ සාමකාමී මැතිකරණයක් වෙන්නේ.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවට වෙච්ච ප්‍රධාන වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා. ආණ්ඩුව විදියට මගේ වැරද්ද ප්‍රසිද්ධ ගමනාසය ඉස්සරහට පිළිගන්නවා. රටේ ජනතාවට කරපු වැරද්ද තමයි අපි බලයට.
We made a mistake. As a part of the government, I accept that mistake. The mistake we made is that even after coming into power, having all the evidence citing who and who gave communication equipment to ardent LTTE separatists and evidence of people who issued orders to murder some of the armed military personnel and who made agreements to violate the unitary state and who inked agreements keeping the Supreme Parliament in the dark about those agreements, we did not conduct relevant investigations into the organizations and people in question. We accept that mistake. That was a mistake. While in the process of fulfilling that task, we pledged to reveal all details within 100 days after the 9th of this month about the venomous means used by international forces in order to intervene in the country's election activities, setting aside all friendly diplomatic relations.
මේ මැතිවරණයට මැදිහත් වෙන රාජ්‍යතාන්ත්‍රික සීමාවෙන් එළියට ගෙන්න රාජ්‍යතාන්ත්‍රික මිත්‍රත්වයන් පසක තියලා ඊටාම විසකරු විදියට
Several party leaders who pledged their support to New Democratic Front presidential candidate Maithripala Sirisena expressed the following views at a media briefing convened today. Our only request is a fair election. Mass media is being used 24 hours a day to carry out their election campaigns. They did not give Maithripala Sirisena even 10 minutes to talk to the country. This is why we have almost attained victory. The first victory was when we all came together under one common goal. Finally, we would like to invite all of you to cast aside caste, creed, party and religion and come together as one to bring about an era where there is no injustice, unfairness, corruption, terror or thievery.
එකට එකතු වෙන්න කියලා ආරාධනා කරනවා අවසාන වශයෙන්. මම අහන්න කැමති ඔය බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ
I would like to make one request from Basil Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa who lived in America. You lived in America while terrorism raged in the country for 30 years. Did you give any assistance to us patriots? We created anti-terrorist organizations and protested on the streets. Basil Rajapaksa has assisted the army, but did he get involved in our movement? No one in that family had any ties with us.
We are not trying to divide this country. We have never assisted the terrorists and we have no agenda to do so. They charge that I used to call Prabhakaran Mr. Prabhakaran. I think I may have spoken about Prabhakaran around 3 times. I have the entire speech on record in which I was criticizing him. I'm going to file a case against them after the elections is over. I said what I had to say about Prabhakaran and I only used the term Mr. once. In the English language, Mr. does not mean minister. Mr. means sir. If you differentiate male from female, you say Mr. or Miss.
අඳුරගන්න වෙනස කරන්නේ Mr. and Mrs. කියන මේ වචන දෙකෙන්. Mr. ප්‍රභාකරන් කියලා සමච්චලයට මම කිව්වේ. I use the word sarcastically.
The responsibility of war heroes and police officers is to protect the nation, to protect the sovereignty of the people. That is why I request them not to forget the past where they respected their duty and their uniform. They dedicated their lives for the citizens of this country. Please do not do anything that will harm the respect that you had. Uphold the respect you have for your uniforms and carry out your duty, keeping in mind the future of the citizens.
මගේ සහෝදරයා කියනවා මම
My brother tells me now how I used to engage in politics with Sarath Fonseca. Then he says that I'm leaving the country. I would like to responsibly state that I am a person who stepped out for the sake of the country, leaving my title. Becoming a minister is not a big thing. Nothing is big for me. I have always played for the country. I made this political decision for the country. I condemn the disgusting manner in which this country is being governed. I have always told the president that he is very crafty in breaking parties and families.
මයිතාම තෝණකමේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට කියනවා එතුමා හරි දක්ෂයි පක්ෂ කඩන්න එතුමා හරි දක්ෂයි පවුල් කඩන්න මොකද්ද ඩලස් අර එතුමා කරන්නේ එතුමාගේ සල්ලි වලින්
What is Minister Dallas doing with his money? This is what he is doing. He is printing calendars for the National Youth Services Association with the picture of President Mahinda Rajapaksa's family.
තනිකර මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂගේ පවුල. දැන් මේක බලනකොට අපි හිතනවා වාසික මහත්තයෙක් ඉන්නවා මෙතන මිස්ටර් රාජපක්ෂ මං කියන්නම් යට ගරු කරන්න නෙවෙයි.
There are his 4 innocent children. It would have been good if his children were innocent like this. But now look at how innocent children destroy the country.
බලන්න ඒගොල්ලන් කරන දේ. අපි පැහැදිලිව පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා මේ සති තුනේදී. මේ අහිංසක ළමයි රට කන හැටි.
බිලියන 35ක් එහි බැංකුවෙන් අනුමත කරලා
35 billion was approved by the bank with a LIBOR rate of 2%. The interest rate is now close to 3%. Since the day they took it, we are paying back the interest. This is how they have implemented all the projects of this government, which have cost about 6,500 billion.
ප්‍රමාණික ව්‍යාපෘති සියල්ල කරලා තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ ආකාරයෙන්. ඒතර අපි ආණ්ඩුවෙන් අහනවා විශේෂයෙන්ම දේශප්‍රේමී කියන ආණ්ඩුව බලප්‍රේමී සහ ධනප්‍රේමී. මෙතුමා සඳහන් කරා බලප්‍රේමී කියලා. බලප්‍රේමී නෙවෙයි දැන් ධනප්‍රේමී.
We bring this to the attention of the government and we bring this to the attention of the people. Will you give them another 5 years to steal in this way? What will the situation be if they steal for another 8 years? There will be nothing left in the country.
Attempts made by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka to hold an open debate between the 2 main candidates in the upcoming presidential election proved unsuccessful. At a media briefing convened today, the Bar Association noted that only the faction of Maithripala Sirisena had agreed to participate.
Maithripala Sirisena මහතා විසින් මෙම ආරාධනා පිළිගත් බවත් අද දින මෙම සාකච්ඡාව සඳහා සහභාගී වේ හැකි බවටත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා
Maithripala Sirisena accepted the invitation and informed the Bar Association of Sri Lanka that he would be able to participate in this debate today. However, it is disappointing to note that His Excellency President Mahinda Rajapaksa is yet to respond to either the initial invitation or the reminder that was sent thereafter. We decided that it would not be appropriate to hold a discussion with the participation of only one candidate. As a result, the proposed debate will not be held. At about 8:30 in the morning, there was a letter from an organization known as Nidahase Maubime Nitijnavarun, which was signed by Attorney-at-Law Sagala Karyawasam. This was accompanied by another letter allegedly from the Elections Commissioner. We are aware of this letter. This letter purportedly from the Elections Commissioner says that they are opposed to our proposal because none of the other candidates have been invited for this debate. The way I see it, this letter has come from a group of lawyers who are connected to the government and who have received various positions from the government. They may have expected that if a debate or discussion was held, a problematic situation would arise for them.
මෙවන් විවාදයක් එමත් නැත්නම් සාකච්ඡාවක් පැවතුනහොත් එයාට ප්‍රශ්න සහගත අවස්ථාවක් ඇති විය හැකියි යන්න පිළිබඳව.
In business news tonight, the euro slid to a 9-year low against the dollar as investors predicted the European Central Bank may act to stimulate the economy. The euro fell by 1.2% against the dollar to $1.18, marking its weakest level since March 2006 before recovering slightly to $1.19. The drop follows ECB President Mario Draghi's comments indicating the bank could start quantitative easing. Greek political turmoil also weighed on the currency. Although the ECB has already cut interest rates to a record low level and also bought some bonds issued by private companies, a full-scale program of quantitative easing has not yet been launched. In sports news tonight, an unbeaten 94-run stand between Kane Williamson and BJ Watling helped New Zealand take a 118-run lead in the second test against Sri Lanka at Wellington, but Sri Lanka was still ahead. New Zealand were tottering on 159 for 5 with a slender lead of 24 when BJ Watling joined Kane Williamson. By the end of the day, he added 94 in 40.3 overs, with Williamson slowly building the lead past 100. Sri Lanka went wicketless in the last session of the day, but on a pitch with a reputation of getting more batsmen friendly with time, they would still have their sights on a series equalizing win. Their seamers had bowled with discipline throughout the day, while Rangana Herath maintained the stranglehold. Nuwan Pradeep picked up the wickets of the two openers and James Neesham late in the second session. At the close of play, New Zealand were 253 for 5 with Williamson on 80 and Watling on 48.
Mine, but the celebrations are on because
Well, with that, we wrap up Primetime News at 9. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.